Hey, my name is Zach, and today we're going to be talking about how to get smooth, cinematic, handheld footage with no gimbal needed. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get smoother handheld video footage without having to buy any extra camera accessories such as tripods, sliders, gimbals, etc. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you're shooting in 60 frames per second. Not only is this going to allow you to slow down your footage in post-production, but because of that, if you do slow it down 50% or even say 60 or 70%, it's going to help smooth out those micro jitters, ultimately creating a much more stable and smooth image. It also gives you great flexibility if you want to speed ramp your footage, so you can start really fast and then ramp down to a half speed slow motion, which is really nice. The second tip is using your camera's camera strap that came with the camera or your preferred camera strap. There's nothing that beats stable footage in terms of points of contact to the actual camera body. And typically a lot of people hold their camera with two hands, or one on the lens and then one on the body. And though this does work, it's still, because the lens is more front heavy, it does still tend to get a lot of kind of micro jitters, and you see a lot of the smaller bumps in the footage. Whereas if you use the camera strap included in the camera and you use it around your neck and kind of tighten it up, and you still use the two hands and you can hold the camera like that, it's giving you now 3 points of contact. So it's helping create more points of contact, which is gonna reduce those bumps and create smoother transitions while moving. So it's a free tip. It comes with your camera, and you'd be surprised at how effective it is, especially once you kind of understand the technique a little bit and are able to utilize your camera strap to its best ability. The third tip is using a lens with image stabilization. The nice thing about this is even if you do have some slight jitters, or if you're using a longer focal length lens like a 70 to 200 millimeter, you're definitely gonna wanna utilize a lens with image stabilization. This is gonna help to essentially stabilize the image in camera without any post-production. A lot of the newer cameras as well also have something called IBIS, or in-body stabilization. So if you do have a camera that has that function or that ability, be sure to use that. And sometimes you can even use that in conjunction with your lens stabilization. So if you actually have a camera body that's able to use lens stabilization as well as in-body stabilization, you can get some surprisingly gimbal-like footage without even having to do any stabilization in post-production. It essentially comes out of the camera pre-stabilized like that. So if you do have a newer camera, definitely check your settings and be sure to enable those settings. The fourth feature is warp stabilizer or any other stabilizer. You don't want to rely on these post-production features because they don't always work or come out the way you expected. You always want to do what's in your best ability to get the most stable footage in camera or in the lens while you're shooting. Try and stabilize it beforehand. But if you're already coming into post-production with really stable footage, I like to look at warp stabilizer as adding that extra 10% or 5% just to polish your footage even more if you want that completely flawless, again, almost gimbal-like smoothness. So if you're already coming in with super smooth footage, you can throw even, let's say 10% of warp stabilizer on your footage, and you're gonna have some really nice looking B-roll clips. That being said, you can also use warp stabilizer on some footage that is not so great coming into post-production. So if you accidentally screw something up, you can always try it on warp stabilizer and see how it works out. But sometimes if you are pushing it to a stronger strength, anywhere from 30 and up %, you do tend to start getting some artifacts and things like that. But test it out with your clip and see how it works. So today's bonus tip, if you want to get some slider-like footage without actually having a slider, you can simply grab either an old book or a towel or something that you can put your camera on a counter or on the ground or on a shelf, and then rig it up in a way where you can pull the camera alongside, and just make sure you have something in the foreground of the shot to give it a little bit of depth. So when you are sliding by, it gives the whole scene a little bit more sense of motion and sense of actual depth of what's happening. And you're gonna be able to get slider shots without even having a slider. And you'd be surprised at how smooth some of these can come out if you're sliding it on a kitchen counter or something like that. If you're using these tips, you're on the right track to getting smooth video no matter what scenario or what gear you have in hand. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite way to stabilize your footage is. So thanks for watching this video, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. You can also follow me on Instagram @FilmZach. And until next time, coffee and crate. Peace.